Austria. That's interesting. No irony there. The last stop on his most recent trip, and towards the end of his talk, he recalled his 2 Yale commencement speeches, 48 years apart, where he discussed sort of the world we're in and America's place in it. I was privileged to speak at a graduating class of Yale this year, and it's particularly a pleasure because it happened to turn out to be literally, I hate to say it, 48 years to the day that I was privileged to speak as a graduating senior of my own class. I talked to them about the sort of world we're in right now, and at the end I tried to remind them all, which I remind you of, I get a little uptight when I hear politicians say how exceptional we are. Not because we're not exceptional, but because it's kind of in your face. And a lot of other people are exceptional. A lot of other places do exceptional things. Despite his profession of uptightness on the topic of America's exceptionalism, Kerry went on to close out his remarks explaining what he believes makes America uniquely exceptional. This guy's a moron. But it doesn't surprise me that he gets a little uptight when people talk about how exceptional the United States is, because there's quite honestly nothing exceptional about John Kerry. He's a pathetic loser who married a ketchup heiress. He married a billionaire ketchup heiress. That's the only exceptional thing he's ever done. Of course, he did serve in Vietnam and then came back and testified, committed perjury under oath, testified against his fellow soldiers. And talked, quite frankly, pretty much like Bo Bergdahl talked right before he deserted. Oh, it drives me insane. It really does. That's what happens when you elect a buffoon to the highest office in the land. Then he hires a lot of other buffoons. Next thing you know, your whole damn government's being led by a bunch of buffoons. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. And, we got 3 more years of this, ladies and gentlemen. Three more years. God knows where we're going to be then. I guess only time will tell. Wherever we're at. Hopefully we can pick up the pieces. Hopefully we can pick up the pieces and rebuild our country. Hopefully. Hopefully without violence. Hopefully, there will be enough of our republic left that we can rebuild it. and restore it. Hopefully, Old Glory will still be flying over the White House, and not the Honduran or the Mexican or any other flag for that matter. The Ketchup Queen, Hot Blonde says. I just now looked over at the computer. I have the chat room. Yeah, what I said a Ketchup era. She's a Ketchup Queen. And she's a killer queen. A killer Ketchup Queen. Dynamite with a laser beam. I couldn't get that. It had to come out. It was in my head. I might as well let it out because, Oh, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh about it all. Anyhow, I had a couple more stories I wanted to get to here. There's a story that I still haven't been able to verify anything about, although we did see some stories a while back about some UN vehicles being spotted around the country. Some of them even said confiscation unit or something on them. I'm looking at a story here. The NWO has their army. Just a matter of time before full implementation. It has begun. UN building world army to usher in NWO and disarm citizens everywhere. Nothing. A few years ago, I'd have looked at a headline like that or a story on Facebook and, they're crazy. Bunch of conspiracy nuts. And nowadays, there's nothing outside the realm of possibility in my mind. It is scary. Very, very scary. Anyhow, running out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. From 7 to 9 p.m., doing what we do, pointing out the absurd, the incompetent, and the incredible. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. I'd like to thank everybody who showed up. Doc in the DFG, Doc in the Spreaker chat room, the Hot Blonde over in the Patriot Media Network chat room, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can listen live by way of Spreaker. Got a player over at the PatriotMediaNetwork.com, a.k.a. the PatriotAddiction.com. Stop over there and visit us. Going to be doing some work there here soon. Those of you listening on Facebook and Twitter, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping in. And everybody, I appreciate the time you spend with me. Going to be a beautiful week, a beautiful weekend. So get outdoors. For me, I make my living outdoors, so, I don't mind a day or so relaxing around the house, but tomorrow I'm going to have to get outside and do something. Got a couple days off here, glitch in the schedule at work. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, these are, I'm going to look up that site about the some of the protests going on. Not sure, I'm not a big guy that gets involved in protests. This is what I do. I'm going to look that up, maybe post it on the Patriot Media Network Facebook page, see if there's anything going on around here in northern Indiana. It's time for all of us to get involved one way or another. Our very republic is at stake. the survival of everything we know that is good about our country, about our way of life, about our heritage. It's all at stake. I believe this president intends to do as much damage in the next 3 years as he possibly can, and doesn't care about his own party, doesn't care about his own country, doesn't care about anything. This current crisis at the border is only the beginning. We'll see. We'll see. Anyhow, we'll be back Friday night from 7 to 9, and you can always listen to, over at the Patriot Media Network. My last show is always there. You can always listen in the archives over at over at Spreaker. So feel free to do so if you missed the show. I want to thank you all for showing up. Going to close it out tonight. Need a little pick-me-up. Little classic music. Going back to the big band days. I love this stuff. Wasn't my era, but some of this is good music. I love it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, good night, and God bless.